Hey all, Hot Fuzzy here with a how to build your ship for Star Citizen guide. Check me out on Twitch through the links below as well. First we're going to go through where to build your ship. For this we're going to use a ship calculator called Erkul. The link for this is going to be below in the description. So I'm going to start off with the Gladius here. Gladius is a pretty cheap common ship that's seen throughout the verse, and we're going to go through the basics here of how to maximize your damage, shields, and power for your ship now with all these changes going on recently with this patch. So first off, we're going to go over the power. You have a certain amount of power that is used with each power supply. So you're going to have a max power, but it's also going to have a max EM signature. I'm getting a little complicated, but I'm going to kind of nerd out for you a little bit here so you don't have to. For most ships, if you don't really care about being seen from a distance, I'd always recommend going a military component if you're into the more PvP, PvE, high damage side. They're going to have the most power generation and the most health as well. So for Gladius, for example, I'm going to start with the JS300. The reason why I want to start with the power unit is because that's going to dictate how many of these pips we have to play with here. So that goes into shields then. Shields, each one is going to have a different pool of HP and a different power and cooling ratio as well. So I'm going to choose, let's say you want to go for high shields, then you're going to want to go with, again, military shields. Military shields have the highest health base for the actual part itself, and pretty much the highest for the shield pool capacity. So we'll hit two of these up. Boom and boom. Now we gotta go to the cooling. You need to have enough cooling to cool these 3 units here. Depending on your ship, you might have more power plants, you might have more shields, so you gotta calculate how much cooling you're gonna require. So we got 16, 3, and 3. So that'd be about 22 cooling to cool this efficiently. So you can either go with a military, which one military would cool everything, so that's not a bad choice, but then you gotta put into, again, they require power. So this is where I've been going more with the stealth side, because 2 of your stealth coolers here will have enough cooling to cool the ship, but they only require 1 power each. The downside is, let's say that component gets taken out and you're down to 1 cooler, then you're not going to be cooling your parts efficiently. But to be honest with you, most of the time if your ship's getting to that point, you're probably effed anyway, so you might as well move on. So we got this, one power, 3 power, 3 power. So that's 6, 7, and 8. That's your shields and your coolers. The power required for your quantum and the cooling doesn't matter because when you switch to your master modes, it swaps these out. So if you go here even, you can swap your master modes. Wait, sorry, here, my mistake. You can go SCM to NAB mode, so that swaps your power usage. Basically removes these from the power usage, so it's null and void. Now we go to the weapons. Every weapon has a power usage. This is new to this patch as well. The weapon choices that I've gone with in the past for PvE were typically your like M series cannons, your deadbolts, but I've been finding the repeaters feel like they're kind of back. It's been a while since they've been strong, but I've been having really good luck with the NDBs. They got a decent base speed, and the damage output seems pretty steady. In past, repeaters felt like they had a much higher drop off once you broke, 1k, 1500 meters away. But now they feel like they hold their damage a lot better. I even tried Panther repeaters in Arena Commander just today, and they still even felt pretty solid. So it's really your choice here. The good old light strikes took a huge hit for us PvPers. they have a 1.5 power requirement, and that really hurts. Especially if you're trying to run like an all light strike build in an F7 series. It's almost impossible to do it anymore with the power consumption. The NDBs only require 1. They're sorry, this is size 3, so my mistake. So the NDBs require 1.25. So let's say you want to run all NDBs. So boom, boom, boom. So your power pips required is only 4 here. Now, it's up to you whether or not you want to run a little less power to your weapons and a lot less to your thrusters, but this will be here to explain this. You have your weapons, thrusters, shields, your comms, life support, cooler. My recommendation for anyone is to pay attention to these numbers right here. Your shield recharge is very important. Now in the past, for especially your size 1 shields, the recharge time was something around 8.5 seconds. Now that's long gone. So if you were running no power to shields, you're looking at over a 2-minute recharge, or sorry, 1 power to shields, compared to when you're running max power, 22 seconds. So it's a bit of a nerf hit to your lighter fighters, but to be honest, the shield recharge was a little too fast because you could just strafe away for 10 seconds and you were back to full shields. Kind of balances that equation out a little bit, but either way. The other thing is going to be your repeater and laser cannon ammos. Now at max power, all repeaters seem to be at 75 ammo. All laser cannons are at 15 base, so that's going to be your base at max power, 75 and 15. But the recharge times compared to the past are a few seconds faster to recharge your ammo pool. So with a laser repeater, it's basically a non-stop fury of ammo, which is pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. So when it comes to the numbers over here, right now life support doesn't do anything. So click that garbage off. That gives you an extra power tick, and I would just throw max shields. This gives you max power, couple in thrusters. That's going to be to your taste. If you might want to take a hit off your weapons and add to thrusters, that's on your personal preference. But for this sake, we'll just go max power to weapons. We got max shields, max coolers. Everything is where you want it to be for a balanced ship. So this would be what I would roughly build if I was running a Gladius. So let's take this to the next step. Let's go to a bigger ship. So let's see here, like Drake Corsair. Probably one of the most popular ships in the game. So again, I'm going to start with my power supplies. So I'm going to want something with high power and high health, ideally. Components are going to be mattering a lot more in the future, so we might as well get used to running that, because especially for bigger ships, you're going to have to be pulling your components out and repairing them. If you have an engineer or a secondary pilot in there, they can pop out, possibly repair the component and put it back. That's not in right now. I'm kind of future-proofing my decisions here, at least for the time being. So right now we got 40 total power, and we're going to need at minimum, we got to add our shield here. So I'm going to go with the FR86. The FR series military A's are usually what I go with for any ship, PvE or PvP, just because it's always a solid choice. High health on the component, and it usually has pretty good shield power, especially with the new update. So that's going to be 5 power there, 5 cooling, 20 cooling, 20 cooling. So we need 45 cooling to actually cool this. So right now, the stock coolers would not be able to cool that. Again, this is going to be on your choice, but you got to look at the power segment required and then the cooling generation. So as it sits, the stealth cooler wouldn't be enough for this. So I might say go with the civilian A. The component health is definitely a little under, but it's not that drastic of a hit. I'm just trying to show you how to balance everything to the best potential. So then we have our cooling required, power is there, and then we have the weapons to go to next. I don't see a point in changing the weapons on the Corsair. For most people, the M series cannons, they're using it for, you know, doing Vaughn missions or ERTs and such. Great choice, wouldn't change a thing. The one thing I might change is your turrets. Your turrets now consume power. So you can either turn them off in your HUD and then you're good to go. So I might just turn those off unless I got someone manning them with me. Because if you remove them, let's say I just don't want them at all. Let's just leave empty. Leave empty. That opens up more pips for me to play with. Recharge time on ammo. If you remember in the past with the M series, it was kind of rough. So again, sorry, here's another turret. This thing has a lot of turrets. So your requirement now goes down 1 tick of power to run max power here. Corsair does not need a whole lot to thrusters. I would throw that in shields, take your life out, and then boom. That's about as beautiful of a build as you're gonna get. Again, you can go pick and choose your weapons. If you want my suggestions, M series are great. Omni Skies are still great. Repeaters feel really good again. And if you're looking for PvE, again, the M series are always the winner. Omnis come in a close second there. Deadbolts, I haven't played with much of the Deadbolts recently. I haven't been able to even get into the server outside of Arena Commander. My character's been locked out, so that's been kind of dookie for me. But do what you can with what you got. Outside of that, it's really your preference. My ship of choice that I love to fly, the F8. The F8's a blast. Now, that's on you. Pick your ship and go with it. Now I'm going to get a little nerdy with you here. I'm going to go back to the Gladius, alright? So, I'm just going to leave the weapon stock, and I'm going to switch this up a little bit. So if you look at, you have your EM, your IR, and your cross-section. This is getting super dorky, but I've kind of done the math on this. Other people have done a lot more math on it as well. But I enjoy kind of the stealth aspect of this. Right now, stealth is kind of pretty strong. If you throw in all stealth components, let's just run all stealth A's, for instance. Look at that drop. So you have a 2.7k, a 4.4k, and then the cross section is going to be that middle number there, which is a 1956. If you can see it, it's going to be a little hard to see. I'll try and zoom in maybe in the video edit here. You have to kind of take this number here, your highest number, and it's going to be roughly 80% of that number is going to be your visibility point. So that would be a roughly 3.5-ish K out, you're going to be visible. That's ridiculously good. That means if you strafe away real quick, you get just over 3K out, you're going to disappear from them. They're not going to be able to target you. So if I reset this value, so right now as it sits, a Gladius is probably visible in the 8 to 9K range. It's the EMIR mix is kind of a weird math, and I haven't found an actual definition for it. If someone does have the actual calculations, I would love that. But I haven't found it anywhere online yet. I have done quite a bit of searching for it. But if you find it, please let me know in the comments. I would love to find that. I'm going to leave this here. If you have any questions, hit us up in the comments below. One of our guys would be glad to talk to you about it. We geek out over this stuff quite a bit when we're sitting in Discord. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any interest in joining our org, look up Chaotic Neutral on the Spectrum site. Throw us a little app, and then you can hit us up in Discord and we'll chat it out. Otherwise, this is Hot Fuzzy. Nice talking with you. Enjoy your day. Later.